Hello and welcome to Spring Quarter. I'm Dr. Lindsay Nesmo. I usually just go by Dr. Lindsay, so whatever you're comfortable with is fine by me. I want to run through a couple things in the course. First of all, over here on the left-hand side, you'll see your navigation panel. You are probably most interested in my grades. You can click on that. You won't see anything yet because nothing's graded, but I'll run through how to access your feedback in the next couple weeks coming up here. What you do need to know is the course messages. I already sent you a message, so when you click on that, you'll see that you'll have an unread message in your inbox. Go ahead and click on that to access what you need to find from me. If you need to get a hold of me, click on this green button called Create a Message. When you click on To, you'll see people that you can select from, and again, just scroll down until you see my name. This is the part that's a little bit tricky if you've never used it before. You have to move that person over to the recipient's side before you can compose the message and then send. Alright, what else do we need to cover? Let's go to the syllabus. All right, my name, contact information is here. I would suggest that you do not use this email address unless there is some kind of emergency. I don't check this email as much as I check the course. I check this course message over here on the left every single day throughout the day, with the exception of the occasional day on the weekend. But I get back to you really quickly through course messages. If you send an email to lindsay.nesmo@rasmussen.edu, I might not get that for a couple days. I definitely don't check that one on the weekends. So only if there's an emergency where you can't access the course or something else comes up like that would you use this email. Just to back up. This is my office phone, and it does go to my desk at my cubicle at work, but even if I'm not there, I still get messages from that phone number. So if you call and you don't leave a message, I won't know that you called. But if you leave a message, I will get that message no matter where I am, if I'm working from home, if I'm at a different campus, or even over the weekends. So phone is always a good option if you need something quickly. Alright, and then we'll scroll through the rest of this syllabus. A lot of this is very familiar information. I'm sure some of you are not new to college courses at this point because this is A&P2. Alright, let's go to discussions. Discussion posts are always due at Tuesday at midnight, and your reply post will be due at Saturday at midnight. There's one exception to this. You will have until the last day of class, which is a Friday in week 11. Now, we have quite a ways off to think about that, so just remember Tuesdays and Saturdays, and you will be good. Alright, then grading. I know you care about grading. Discussion posts are every single week, and they will account for 20% of your overall grade. You will have 5 written assignments in this class. If you took A&P1 at Rasmussen, it's going to be very, very similar to that. You'll have 1 case study every other week, so weeks 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Those add up to 26% of your grade. You will have 1 midterm, 1 final exam. Both of those are 25% of your grade. Weekly quizzes. Those can be a little bit tougher. If you've had A&P1, again, you have a really good idea of what to expect. If you're coming into this class with different credit from a different college, expect these quizzes to be pretty tough. You will need to study quite a bit in order to do well on them. So 27% of your grade, and that all adds up to 485 points with 100%. You will need 73% to pass the course. Anything above that is going to be a higher letter grade. Alright, what else? I want to highlight one thing down here. The plagiarism part is the part that I always have issues with students, especially in online courses. I think that with using online sources and online references, it's really tempting and really easy to copy word for word what a source says. And it might sound obvious to some of you, but that's not okay. It's never okay to copy and paste a source into your work, whether that's a discussion, a case study, or any other type of assignment. I want to make that really clear, and if I see it, it will be reported. So make sure you're paraphrasing if you're using a big chunk of sentence, or several sentences or big chunk of information. If you do need to make a small quote, every now and then you have to, that's okay. But if you need to make a small quote, it has to be in quotations. You do need to make sure that that site is, that source is cited, and it should not be a paragraph of information. And there's two reasons behind this and why I'm so adamant about plagiarism. The first one is plagiarism is stealing. If you're using someone else's words, you are taking their information. You wouldn't go into someone's house and take books out of their house. That's stealing, right? We wouldn't do that. The second one is I can't tell if you're learning if you're using someone else's language. A good example would be if I needed to fly a plane and I read a book on how to fly a plane, I took that information and then I copied it into a Word document and I gave it to you. Would you trust me to fly your plane? The answer is you shouldn't, because I don't know that information. I haven't expressed to you that I understand it, that it has internalized in me and I get it and I know what to do with it. All it shows is that I knew how to take a book and hand it to you. So as an instructor, it's really important for me to see you say things in your own words. And if that's not perfect grammar, that's okay. You know, I just want you to think about this, right? Critically think about this information. All right, I don't want to beat a dead horse there, so I will leave that alone for now, but you'll probably hear me talk about plagiarism again in this course. All right, you can find your textbook up here on the left. It's a very, very, very long document. So what I would suggest is the first time you open this up, save it as a PDF. So over here on this side, click on that little download or save button, and eventually, when it starts to download, it'll give you an option to save the whole document. I absolutely recommend that you do that, because if you ever lose internet access, like I just did, shoot, let's go back. Hang on. If you lose that internet access, it will be really difficult to access your book. All right, so save it, and you'll have it when you're offline as well. All right, what else? Let's go to Module 1. In Module 1 and in all the modules, you'll see a lesson content folder and an assignments folder. Lesson content is all of the information that you need to study. Assignments are all the things that you need to do. So let's look at the study material first. First, you'll see objectives, so things you need to study, excuse me, things you need to learn this week. You'll see an overview of the assignments. This just really gives you the hours and estimated time that you need to plan out your day or your whole week. Here's where you find lectures. And in the past, I've had students say that they want more live lectures in this course. And here's why I don't do live lectures. One, they're not required for your learning. So the more live lectures I do, the more time you're putting into this course that you should really be putting into these videos and to your case studies. Everything you need to know is in lecture format in these videos. If you don't like videos and that's not your learning style, you can download the PowerPoint information, same information right here. And you can save the PowerPoint slides and then read through them, study through them, take notes. What I recommend is if you find yourself having trouble with anything in this course, save these and print them out. Then watch the videos and take notes on your PowerPoints as you go. That is the most effective way to get this information into your head, because you're watching it, you're hearing it, and you're writing it all at the same time. So if that works for you and you have the time to do it, I really highly recommend that you do that. All right, you'll see that there's lots of videos, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this module, and you'll see a few more in the upcoming ones. So use these as your live lectures. And then, here we go, case studies. You do not have a case study due this week. This is just introducing the case study that you will turn in Module 2. There's 2 different documents. They pop up as PDFs, and they're kind of written like a story that you read through and then you'll answer questions about. So this first one is about, what's the name here? The 2 parents here. The Stamos parents, and they are having their daughter checked up at the pediatrician. So you'll read through this information, and you'll see some test results for little Nicoletta. And you'll see a couple pictures of what her blood looks like compared to normal blood, and then a follow-up appointment. In case study document 2, this is a new case, and this one is about, is it Deborah? Denise. There it is. There's the name. So she is having some issues with kind of some heart fluttering, and at first it seems like it may be a heart attack. So read through this information. You'll see her subjective, patient-focused information here, and as you look through the different parts of this case study, you'll see several different words. So make sure you understand what myocardial infarction is. Make sure you know what coronary arteries are and the definition of a thrombus. Those are going to be very important words to understand to answer the questions for this case study. As you look through, there's a lot more information here. Really focus on these bolded and italicized words because that's going to help lead you in the right direction. And she's had a lot of information going on here. And it tells you, I think, the most important parts to focus on here, besides the bolded words, are what Denise is thinking. Right? So what Denise is thinking and what these tests mean. There's a lot of abbreviations here, so it might take a little research to find out what they mean. When you get through those case studies, you will look through these questions. And the questions are sometimes very straightforward, and sometimes they require quite a bit of critical thinking. I'll show you what I mean. Number 1, what are the symptoms of anemia? Well, that's something that you can just simply Google. You don't even really need the case study information for that. But when you see a question like this, why did this parents change Nicoletta's formula, talking about her baby formula, milk formula, to a high iron baby formula? Now that's going to make you look back at the case study and wonder, well, what exactly was happening with that baby that made them think that maybe she was missing iron and so forth. So when you're answering these questions, leave the case study exactly as it is and write underneath. So my answer goes here. Full sentences, sometimes full paragraphs, depending on how much information is being asked. And I recommend that you change the color of your answers for 2 reasons. 1, it makes grading much faster, so you get your grades back faster. And 2, it helps you recognize if you've missed any questions. So use a different color if you can, or if you remember. And there won't be any points lost for that. When you are completing your case studies, there are 2 ways that you can document your sources. 1 is to write it right under your answer. So let's say I got this from someone who was named Anderson, first initial J. It was written in 2016. And then I'll just put some ellipses in here to show you the rest of this APA citation. You can put it here if you want to. Or if you don't want to do that, you can list all of your citations at the end of the document. So you could put one here, one here, one here, and here. Does not matter to me where you put them as long as they're in the document somewhere. You must use APA. If you don't know what APA is yet, you will. You have to. Here is your grading rubric for your discussion posts. 5 points for having a good discussion post. 3 points for having at least 1 substantial reply post. And 2 points for good sources. And again, in APA format. If you don't know APA format, I'll just show you really quickly here. I clicked on the wrong thing. APA, there we go. APA format is found here at the APA guide. You can find this in the Library and Learning Services page. When you go to references, you have a drop-down menu of many, many kinds. Scroll down. If you click one, let's go with this. You'll see exactly how to do that right here. If you have more questions, let me know. I'm here to help, and welcome to Spring Quarter.